Hey there, Bat fans! Troy to the Max Extreme here.
And Ghost Hunter Dave here. And welcome back to another episode of our Batyear festivities. Another 2-in-1 week.
That's right. This ep we're going all over Dark Knight Strikes Again, so we're going to strike while the iron is still lukewarm.
Yeah, when was it? 2000?
2001 max.
Yes.
It's ice cold at this point.
Oof.
But join us in the conversation, won't you?
We've got a lot to talk about.
Right now, you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
The Dark Knight Returns, that brings us into his follow-up, the 2001 Dark Knight Strikes Again.
3-issue miniseries. Three
big
big issues. Holy moly,
when I was looking, because when I was reading through the first time,
yeah.
Okay, honestly, I never read this up until last night. Whenever you're listening to this, I was reading it last night. I'm just perpetually reading this to torment myself. So this was written in 2001, and I was going through, I was like, I'll just read the first few issues or whatever, and the first issue just kept going, and I'm like, what the shit? Book 2 starts on page 91.
What a weird fucking thing this is.
That's pretty much an all-encompassing view for me as well.
Yeah. Alright.
So I'm gonna crack open this graham cracker nut brown.
Alright. Tell me what you think. I'm still doing the Duck Rabbit Milk Stout. I think it's our last one from our friend Mac Tucker.
This is really good.
It's good stuff?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So right away, the art, the pacing, the dialogue, it is so different from The Dark Knight Returns.
So different.
Which this is a direct follow-up.
Yeah.
But not necessarily bad until about halfway through issue 2, I felt like.
Issue 2, I couldn't tell you what happens whatsoever in issue 2.
It goes off the rails.
Yeah. Very much so.
Alright, let's give a broad synopsis of this.
Okay, go ahead.
Takes place a little while after Dark Knight Returns. Batman has his Bat Army.
Yep.
With Carrie Kelly now under the mantle of Catgirl.
Yeah.
And they are going to just disrupt the system. Stick it to the man.
Yep.
And he needs his fellow heroes to do it.
Yep.
So, like, the first issue is them essentially, like, springing a bunch of heroes from jail.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So we get to the Atom, Shazam, Wonder Woman, Superman, Flash.
With a new costume.
Yeah. Green Arrow. Is that about it? They kind of pull them all in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's about it.
Yep.
And they kind of disrupt Lex Luthor's tower? I don't know.
Yeah.
It is so hard to tell where and what is going on in this. Because there is essentially no backgrounds in the panels. And you have a really hard time of telling, like, the setting or what is going on around them.
Yeah. This is like a point in time where like digital coloring became like really prominent, and I feel like it is a fault. The colors in this, I think, are awful.
Yeah,
awful.
Is this Lynn Varley too?
Yeah, it is.
So that's Frank Miller's one-time wife and all-time colorist essentially.
Yeah. The foreground stuff is all like done like how she traditionally usually does it. But, like, it's a lot of backgrounds and a lot of special effects. Like this, right here. If you can see that. It's like all the Bat people are colored traditionally, but the background is all this weird digital, like... If I could be completely honest right off the top of the bat, I think nothing works in this. I don't know. I kind of am on board near the end, but I think the art, the writing, the dialogue, and the coloring is bad.
Yeah.
I don't like any of it.
Okay. I'll go a little more positive in that there are moments of this that I really like, but they are like 5% of the entire book.
Okay.
But I do really like them, and I'll call them out as we get to them. We'll do this chronologically.
Okay.
But yeah, overall, this is a weird fucking book.
Yeah.
So much that, like, I don't even know what the story is of this book.
I couldn't really...
Batman doesn't even appear until, like, the last couple pages of the first issue.
Right.
Which doesn't seem like a lot, but as you said... The second issue begins on page 91.
Yeah.
So, like, what happens in this? And that's the issue that I think is the best.
See, I like the last issue quite a bit. I feel like the art changes a little bit. It doesn't become so sporadic, but I feel like it tells a more cohesive story.
I'd say what happened on this, but we know 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
And apparently it broke Frank Miller.
Yeah.
Because he was midway through the series, and that happened. 9/11. Horrible tragedy.
Yeah.
But he really incorporated it into this, and it kind of shifted the entire tone of the book.
Yeah.
Where it took a much bigger chunk of the story, like the devastation of Metropolis.
Yeah. Well, I guess from where it started, it's a definite jump in tone.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I appreciated the tone a little bit more. It was like from a story perspective, where they were going with the destruction of Metropolis by like Brainiac and Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
The somber kind of tone of them trying to like save it at some points, and just like what the destruction has laid waste to, I could attach myself to.
Yeah, it was a plot point that you could actually identify with.
Yeah. But before then, it was like off the walls, goofy.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one of my biggest problems with this, Lex Luthor and Brainiac, the two villains of this, just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, essentially like, okay, here's the villains, it's these two, and now they're destroying Metropolis for no reason.
For reasons.
Yeah.
Whatever they are. Yeah, I couldn't follow anything that they were doing.
And Lex Luthor has been turned into this big brute.
Right.
Who just looks like a thug from Sin City.
Yeah.
In Brainiac, I mean, there's no personality to them at all.
No.
They're just working together for some reason.
I had to keep reminding myself that he was Lex Luthor.
Yes. And not like... whatever that guy was that Miho kicked his head off in Family Values.
Yeah. Speaking of Miho, Catgirl is a lot like Miho. Even to the point where she is on rollerblades.
Chucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, this had to be right around the Family Values, because the artwork is like
very
exactly
similar.
like that.
I think the art, everyone is drawn like a Bratz doll. You know what I mean? Like they got like the big long extremities with the big paws and feet.
All the pages are just caricatured media people who barely even look human.
Yeah, they're full-on cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of them are like horribly drawn cartoons where it's like this looks like a child drew this.
Yeah.
And the pacing is all over the place, where like really important plot points are just occurring off panel, and they just like reference like, oh yeah, now Batman is captured by Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah, because I was like, what the
end
fuck
of the book
here?
Like all of a sudden he's in chains, and it's like, when did I miss a tie-in? Yeah. It, like, you feel that something was wrong with him when he made this. Where you almost don't want to criticize it. Frank, was everything okay?
Yeah. I want to know, like, in that mindset, in, like, 2001, where he was at. Because maybe that would make me...
appreciate it more?
Sympathize more for the story. But, like, taking this at face value, years removed, if somebody were to read this right now, they'd be like, what the fuck is going on here?
It is like below amateur level.
Yeah.
It is like below fan fiction.
Right.
It's something where you're like, how did this get made?
Yeah.
What is this?
For whatever reason, if this was the first thing you've read of Frank Miller, I
you would
think
be
it
turned off him for life.
Immediately. Yeah. Yeah, you'd never go back.
No.
People would be like, but Dark Knight Returns is good. And you'd be like, fuck you. Have you read Strikes
Yes.
Again?
Shortly after this, he did...
I like the...
yeah. All right. A little off topic. After this, he did his pseudo-Batman follow-up, Holy Terror, which tackled similar 9/11 themes. And I've heard through the grapevine, this was originally pitched to DC, and they turned it down, and he went to Dark Horse.
Okay.
And in doing so, he reworked the characters. So the Batman character is something else, the Catwoman character is something else, but they're very much Batman and Catwoman.
Okay.
And they're fighting this like Islamic threat that is attacking the city.
Oof. Okay.
It is exactly Dark Knight Strikes Again, but even more like directed at this weird kind of Islamophobia.
Yeah. Okay, well, living in America, I don't want to get political very much, but living in America around 2001, that probably would have been a hot take, like a hot sell, actually. Like, not a hot take so much as, like, I could get behind that kind of book. Like, it'd be like rallying against kind of like Nazis, like back in the 40s or whatever. And which is unfortunate to say, but I admire DC for, like, that shouldn't be a tone we're going for right
we
now.
don't want that to be tied to us.
And Batman or us in general. Yeah. So I've never read Holy Terror. Did you go and read it?
Yeah, I read it. It's not worth an episode on by any means, but it's very much in line with Dark Knight Strikes Again. It's like Dark Knight Strikes Again 0.5. Okay. You know? I don't know. It's just a lot of emotion, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's not good.
Right, okay. The one thing that I would say that Strikes Again does do, it plays with its Frank Miller continuity. They bring up... Green Lantern is still kind of an ostracized character and comes in as like almost a messiah, like that demigod that he kind of put him up as. Yeah,
I thought this was a little weird. It almost treated him as like this godlike figure, where before that they were just constantly chuckling at what a piece of shit he was. Yeah. What a dummy he was.
But like he pretty much saves everything at the end.
I guess in an abstract way that you can't really comprehend the full extent of what he does.
Yeah. Plastic Man's in this a little bit. Yeah. To reintroduce his Justice League that he created. In continuity.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. It's weird he didn't pull Flash into All-Star after he's such a big role in this.
Yeah. Flash gets a weird shorts and t-shirt costume.
It's like a biker. Like a cyclist.
But he's the character that they kind of save at the end of issue 1 because he's continually running in that machine to power...
He's in a hamster wheel to power all of America, essentially. Yeah. Which I like.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I'm gonna go through a couple things I like right now.
Go ahead.
You're hitting up here.
Okay.
I do like how Batman rounds up all the old heroes.
Yeah.
I think if you follow up Dark Knight Returns, I like the idea that he's pulling in the old guard. In the first issue of this is him getting the gang back together.
Yep.
So I like how he saves Adam from a petri dish that he's been trapped in. He's you think he's some stranded, like shipwrecked refugee on this island, and these sea monsters are getting him, but he's actually on this little tiny like slide jar with amoebas and weird things. And they bring him back to full size. The Flash is powering the city. Plastic Man is like trapped in his egg, and when they save him from Arkham Asylum, I think they say like he could kill us all. In just a thought, he could kill us all, and he's just completely deranged too. At one point, he turns into like a blender, and he's just like chopping people up, and then other times he's flushing them down a toilet, which is he's the toilet.
So where are they going?
I don't know, but I feel like he has a special appreciation for Plastic Man.
You know what would be funny? If he turns into the toilet, and they flush him down, but it's still his own body. So he he stretches out a butt, which is sitting on himself, and is just shitting the guy back into the toilet.
Oh my god. That would be the Grant Morrison, Frank Miller meta Batman Plastic
too
Man.
heavy of an idea.
Yep. So I like all that. I like that he's turned the Bat Boys into a strike team, and I like that Carrie Kelly is leading them.
Yeah.
That's all cool.
Yeah.
But the way he tells it is so just like piecemeal.
Yeah.
There's no like transitional material or like setting. You don't get the tone or the stage. It's just like, here they are doing this. Now they're over here.
Right.
And you don't get a sense for like, what is the world other than the newscasters that are just like a joke.
Yeah, and they don't really, like, they set up like how bad the world is now, but like if they were to do it justice, they should have been telling like, since the Batman reemerged in this year, this has happened. So you get like backstory of how it leads up to here. But like, why would Carrie Kelly, who is strictly like so Batman-esque, now jump to Catgirl?
Yeah.
I would like to see like that little snippet. Like if you were Azzarello, go back and do that point.
Fill that one in,
Yeah, I would like to see that.
I loved Shazam's final moments in this 9/11 atmosphere where he's holding up a building and he's kind of at the end of his rope.
Yeah.
And he says, or I think Wonder Woman asks him, like, where will you go?
Right.
And he says, where does a wish go? Where's a dream go when you wake up and can't remember it?
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
And then she says, like, then go out.
Yeah.
Like a lion's roar. And he says, Shazam!
Yeah.
And disappears.
Right.
And the building collapses.
Crumbles. That was really...
I love that.
That was probably one of my favorite parts of the book.
Yeah, I thought that was like one of the best like Shazam moments in any Shazam literature.
Yeah. Because also they do more in that little moment between Wonder Woman and Shazam too, that... Or she asks him to transform back into Billy Batson just to get a reprieve.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't. He's already dead.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't transform into him. We switched places.
Very much a Mr. Miracle.
Very much
or
so.
A Miracle Man.
Yeah, God damn it. But very much so.
Yep.
And so when he's
been dead for years.
When he switches places, he's not ever coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then it ends out with that, which is really powerful, which I really like.
Yeah, and also takes away a big gun from the DC universe.
Yep.
Now we're moving on to some more...
Criticisms?
Yes. As if we haven't had a lot. So the Super Chicks controversy. What was this?
Irrelevant.
Yes. It was like a Frank Miller excuse to draw sexy women throughout the entire thing with no bearing on the story.
Not at all.
I don't, like, were they supposed to be like the Dixie Chicks against George
know.
Bush? Like, that was this time.
Yeah.
You know, were they like this female group that they were in the media and
I don't know.
Outspoken against politics?
But it never did anything to the story. Even when I think it was getting close, it would just stop and then make no difference to the rest of the story.
I'm not going to tell you how to write comics, but, like, have them come in and do something.
Right.
Or they did nothing. It was just pure, like, background noise.
Yeah. At least be an allegory for something to, like, set up something tonally. But it doesn't do that. It just is an arbitrary thing he's thrown in, I think, just for sex appeal. Really.
Yeah, very much.
Because they're all just shown, like, back to the camera showing their ass. That's all it is.
Yep. And then Brainiac's 9/11 Frogger Death Machine.
Fuck Brainiac in this. Because, like, I didn't even know those, like, spaceship things were Brainiac.
No.
And they're just, like, they look all like amphibious frog things. I'm like, what do you think this is, BPRD? Like, I have no idea.
Yeah, there's no scope to the destruction. It's like, I guess they're in Metropolis because they said they're in Metropolis, but there's no buildings. It's just, like, Superman and a Frogger in nothing. In, like, a digitally colored background.
Yeah.
And he's fighting them. No, he's not fighting them. He doesn't want to fight.
Right.
He's just taking it, which doesn't make any sense.
I don't. Yeah.
And it just goes on and on for, like, all of issue 2. It's just Brainiac's Frogger machine beating down Superman and destroying Metropolis. And he's not really helping anybody or saving it. It just seems so weird.
Yeah. They from Dark Knight Returns to this, Frank Miller seems to soften a little bit on the Superman mythos,
Yeah. Where he's not such a stooge.
Corporate overlord kind of thing. But, like, you also find out that Wonder Woman and Superman have a kid in this.
Yep, which does play a huge role later.
Yeah.
Next episode.
And
Lara.
Yeah, she is introduced in this after you find out that, like, after Superman and Wonder Woman bang in midair.
Oh, yeah. They go out into space and shake the
heavens with their lovemaking.
Yep.
That she's like, I'm pregnant again. And you're like, again?
And then they do have that other kid in the next one. I forgot about that.
And so it shows, like, full-on Laura, who's, like, got a terribly colored costume because it's got that weird red to blue gradient.
Yep. And she is only in this pose.
At all times.
Yep. She's in this weird sitting flying position.
But Frank Miller loves that pose because I see that with Miho in Sin City a lot.
Yeah. Like, heels to the butt.
Yeah. Exactly.
Floating in midair.
But she is like a big powerhouse that comes in at the end to help defeat Brainiac and all this type of stuff too.
Yep. So, this is getting long, but we should also bring in that Brainiac has Superman's city of Kandor.
Yeah.
And that is why Superman is not retaliating, because Brainiac threatens to destroy Kandor, the last surviving city of Krypton.
If done...
Shrunk into a tiny glass bottle.
If done a little better, I like that plot element.
Yeah,
that, like,
it's
he's
not
kind
bad.
of under Brainiac's thumb. He's under some pressure. Like, if you do anything that I don't like, I'm going to wipe out the rest of your race.
Yep.
So Superman obviously doesn't want that to happen. And I like the fact that with Catgirl... No, is it Laura or is it Catgirl that goes to help Kandor?
It's Lara.
And Adam is with her, and he goes into Kandor, he grows and busts the shit out of all that shit, and then all of the Kryptonians come out now under yellow sunlight and take it to Brainiac. I think that's
cool.
A really cool part. But
it's even hard to gather in his storytelling.
Yes.
That's what happens.
Yes.
In the orphanage that they destroy, and these weird, like,
mutant creatures?
Mutant orphans. Ugh.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Fucking awful. I'm putting my stamp.
Yes.
Get a stamp that's just like fucking awful.
Okay, so let's go on to the elephant in the room here.
All right.
The secondary antagonist to this is this Joker facsimile.
But he's barely a secondary antagonist because he's just in and out as like little blips.
It's Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
How?
Because I think Frank Miller hates Dick Grayson for whatever reason.
Why?
Okay, this is another thing that Azzarello should do in that chunk of time before DKR.
You gotta figure out what happened there. Yeah.
Because if it's set up right, Dark Knight or Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder treats Robin like shit.
Yeah.
So I can see from there that he turns into a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He ends up getting a new Robin, but you don't know what happens to Dick Grayson in that little chunk of time
between Last Crusade, where he's now taken on Jason Todd.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, I would love...
Tell that, yeah.
I need more context, because, like, as an idea...
It's never fleshed out.
Because I thought it was going to be Jason Todd, and then it ends up being Dick Grayson. I'm like...
Me too, yeah.
That doesn't work!
It doesn't make any sense. He likes Dick Grayson. He's the good Robin.
Dick Grayson should be the heart of the DC universe.
Yeah.
He's the only good part in it. He would never turn into a Joker.
Yeah.
Not ever.
And they give him so little screen time that, like, it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't at all.
But yeah, he's this weird Joker wannabe.
Yeah.
Who is killing heroes, and all you hear is that Batman fired him for being a wimp. And then proceeds to bully him to death.
Oh my god.
After reading All-Star Batman and Robin, this seems really cruel.
It does!
Like, he's done is make fun of him and pick on him, and then in this, he just, like, berates him with insults and, like, drops him into a pit of magma.
Yeah.
It's like, what? What? Why did you even bring him in,
Fuck
man?
you, Batman, you prick.
He was happy grieving his parents' death, and you pull him in, insult him, turn him away from you, and then kill him after insulting him more.
What is Frank Miller? What do you have against Dick Grayson?
On the topic of Batman being a total dick, he's a dick to Superman throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
Superman comes to the Batcave and Batman pummels him with kryptonite gauntlets.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then tells him, like, get out of my cave.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's how issue 1 ends.
Yeah.
I'm alright with that.
Me too.
And then he just proceeds to, like, rip on him throughout the whole thing,
Yeah.
even though he's the only one that can save the day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Even at the end, like, he pretty much grabs Superman by the throat and is like, listen, buddy, you're going to listen to me and you're not going to do anything else. I'm the boss now because my dick is huge or whatever he's thinking.
So then it ends with Superman, Kara, they all, like, are able to revolt.
Yeah.
They destroy Brainiac with the help of the Kandorians.
Yeah.
Batman, I do love that Batman cuts the Z from Zorro into Lex Luthor's face.
I like that too.
Because Zorro was a movie Batman saw as a kid before his parents were killed. It holds a special place in his heart. I love that.
Me too.
And then eventually, out of nowhere, the Hawk children kill Lex Luthor. So that was weird. They just mace him in the face, and that's it. After Batman is captured off-panel and tortured for a while.
Yeah.
The end scene with Joker torturing Carrie Kelly.
Yeah.
I counted it up. There's 30 panels on the page.
Just the one page?
One page.
Holy shit. Because I opened up to that and I'm like,
oh my god. Yeah.
Push the hair out of my forehead. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
It does read quicker than what it sounds, but, like, it's a lot.
30 panels. Like, you can't... There are panels where you don't know what you're seeing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They're so tiny. It's like, what is this? Did you run out of pages? Like, my
it
god.
Seems like at this point you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't think a page count is really going to go against
Release
you.
an issue 4 that's 7 pages long to pad it out.
Yeah.
And there's no transition. Like, Batman is being tortured by Lex Luthor, and then he's suddenly in the Batcave with Carrie Kelly being tortured by Dick Grayson. And then he opens up a door, and he falls into a pit of magma, but maybe it's a hologram, and then it all explodes. I have no idea.
Know.
And he essentially, it just ends with him being like, fuck you, Dick Grayson, you suck. You're a pussy.
Yeah, as he farts on him or whatever.
He kind of wraps it up saying, this would be a grand death, but I'm in no mood for dying. And then the Batcave burns. Carrie Kelly's, he's got her in his arms, and she's like, but all your stuff, all of your belongings, your cave. And he looks at her and he says, souvenirs. I was sentimental back when I was old. Love it! Because he's old now! He's older than he's ever been! But
he's old as dirt!
That's right, but he's revitalized.
Boy.
He's ready to strike again.
Like, from here, I haven't read The Master Race yet. And so, like, I couldn't even imagine where it can go from this point.
I can see why DC instituted a co-writer. Yeah, you can do your Dark Knight 3. With stipulation. We're going to bring in over Brian Azzarello. He's going to help you take the reins of this. Make sure you don't go off the rails. And turn in something that we can actually publish and sell.
Frank Miller's like, oh, I don't know about that. And then like, well, they did fuck Batgirl on a roof. He wrote that. He's like, I'm on board.
I'm in. Overall, some of it is entertainingly crazy, but none of it is good.
No. There are, like we said, there are highlights in it that I really enjoy. Yeah. But they are very sparsely sprinkled in this.
Yeah. It doesn't even feel like a story.
But it doesn't. It's just a bunch of things that are happening with no real connective tissue.
It's a collection of poorly written and drawn madness. I don't want to be like the angry comic nerd.
I don't.
But there are parts of this where I get like actually a little infuriated by how badly this is written.
Yeah.
And not because like I love the characters and you're doing them injustice. It's more like how is this published? Like, this
Exactly.
This is bad.
It really is. Like, I know that he's put out great work, so maybe he just has tenure and can kind of have freedom to do what he wants. Good. He's done awesome Batman runs, Daredevil runs, so he has lived up to his name already by the time he's wrote this.
Yeah. How did anyone get this in a script format and be like,
Yep,
checks out, go for it?
Fucking if like you were to put in a script and that was exactly this, you would have been shown a middle finger and
Yes.
there's the door.
Yes.
Don't let it hit on your ass on the way out.
Oh, I know. Like, we haven't read Neil Adams' Batman Odyssey yet, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that's a contender for the worst Batman. But, like, Dark Knight Strikes Again is in the running for the worst Batman story of all time.
Yeah.
Whereas his Year One and Dark Knight Returns is one of the best.
Yes.
So that's it.
That Strikes Again.
That is
Right
Dark
there.
Knight Strikes Again.
Um,
Thanks for joining us.
yeah. So let us know down below if you read this yet. But until next time, when we'll finish off some Miller time.
Yep.
I've been Troy to the Max Extreme.
And I've been Ghost Hunter Dave.
And we've been Imperious Rex. So we'll join you next time when we finish up Miller Time Batyear here on Imperious Rex.
And we're pretty drunk.
That butt. Look at those tight cheeks.
Tight cheeks. Tight crotch. Tucked back as much as humanly possible. You can see the entire outline of the dick.
Fits in perfectly with Miller stuff.
It does, actually.